Medfield TV presents Meet the Candidates, interviews with our citizens running for local offices. This series is being brought to you by the joint efforts of Carol Mayer, Town Clerk, Kevin Murphy, Medfield High School Social Studies teacher, Aditi Tate, Cheryl Dunlay, and the staff of Medfield TV. I am James Colley from Medfield High School. I will be posing questions to the candidate. She will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. At the end of the questioning period, the candidate will have 2 minutes to address the TV audience. Today we are interviewing Eileen DeSorgher. She is a state-appointed candidate for Housing Authority. This position is for a 5-year term. There is one open position, and her name will not appear on the ballot. Ms. DeSorgher, what is the responsibility of the Housing Authority Commissioner?
The responsibility of the Housing Authority Commissioner in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is, before I answer that question, let me just briefly explain that there's 240 housing authorities across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and Medfield is one of them. All housing authorities have 5 commissioners, one that is a state appointee. All housing authorities are under the Mass General Law 121B, under the Department of Housing and Community Development. We're managed by that group for elderly and handicapped housing. Here in Medfield, our housing is at Tilden Village, which is located at 30 Pound Street in Medfield. We have 10 buildings with a total of 60 tenants and 6 apartments for each building. Our housing authority here in Medfield is managed by a part-time executive director who also shares her time with the Foxborough and the Millis Housing Authority. We have a maintenance supervisor, and they take care of the day-to-day operations for the Medfield Housing Authority.
What does the Housing Authority do in Medfield?
The Housing Authority commissioners in Medfield are responsible for making sure that all the policies are followed and maintained. Likewise, it is our responsibility to make sure that there's accurate and updated policies. For example, just last year, we have initiated a new policy of no smoking. The facility is now smoke-free, like many facilities across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
How were you originally appointed?
I was originally appointed to the Medfield Housing Authority in 2011 when there was a vacancy after Valerie Mariani served 18 years on the Medfield Housing Authority. I applied for the position through the governor's website with the opening under the Department of Housing and Community Development. Once I applied for the position, there was like a 2-month transition period of background checks where they checked into, obviously, my experience, which would include 30 years in the private sector as a property manager, as a payroll supervisor for over 800 employees, for a financial analyst who managed capital and expense budgets. So I had a lot of experience that is very applicable for being a watchdog over the Housing Authority.
And what is the process for your reappointment?
The process for reappointment for my term that expires in September is to refile an application to the Department of Housing and Community Development to have recommendations submitted to the Housing Community Development Authority, which they will pass on to the governor. My experience with 30 years in the workforce in the private sector, as well as 35 years in the communities of Medfield, Holliston and Walpole volunteering have enabled me to be an asset to the state representing the folks at Tilden Village.
Okay. Mrs. DeSorgher would like to take this time to address the TV audience.
On behalf of the commissioners of the Medfield Housing Authority, I just want to take this moment to, first of all, thank the board of directors at Medfield TV for providing this opportunity to let the people in Medfield know a little more about the Medfield Housing Authority and exactly what it does. I want to thank Chief Meany and the Medfield Police Department and the EMTs for their immediate response whenever required at Tilden Village. Likewise, Chief Kingsbury and the Medfield Fire Department. I specifically want to thank the 8th graders of the Blake Middle School for year after year providing a dinner and musical entertainment for the residents of Tilden Village, as well as the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts for all that they do for Tilden Village. Lastly, as a former member of the League of Women Voters, I'd like to remind the citizens of Medfield that democracy is not a spectator sport, and to please exercise your right to vote in our town election on March 28th. Thank you.
I wish to thank Mr. DeSorgher for participating in this interview show. Please remember that democracy is not a spectator sport. Please vote at the Center on Ice House Road on Monday, March 28th from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
The preceding was a production of Medfield TV, Community Show.